AI would then be our generalist with the humans being the specialists. And then so it's not just to make a smarter system, but, we can have a workplace where people feel more capable, where they feel trusted and more supported. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tend to say curiosity is ask before assuming, connection is design with people, and context is understand the human consequences.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's conversation around the future of work, where technology sits in that, and what it takes to build organizations that genuinely support people. My name is Gabby, and I'm the content lead over at Kaylee, your AI employee benefits advisor, and I'll be your host for today's conversation. And today, I'm actually really excited to talk to Dr. Geanie Asante, who is an AI executive with over 20 years of experience at enterprise organizations. She's really passionate about helping people thrive, and her TED Talk on heart-centered AI, which talks about how vulnerability plays a role in helping humans and artificial intelligence perform better, has gotten almost 200,000 views on YouTube. So it's no surprise that she's become a top voice on AI and what it means for humans using it and not just the companies that are deploying it. So thank you, Dr. Geanie, for joining us today.
Thank you, Gabby. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, I'm personally really excited to chat with you because I think the question around what it means to put humanity back in AI is something that you talk a lot about. And I think it's something that a lot of us are also asking right now, too. So let's get into the conversation. You're a fierce champion around the idea that technology shouldn't just make companies more efficient. It should really elevate the humans using it. So I would love to understand a little more around what human-centric design, AI design looks like for you. And in particular, I would love to get your take on the 3 C's framework that you've talked about a lot.
Yeah. So when we talk about putting more humanity in, things are moving so fast, and we all get caught up no matter where we are or no matter what job we're doing. And so with AI moving even quicker, what we want is to make sure that it can handle the work, be able to surface useful information, and give us time to use our judgment, to be creative, and not lose sight of the relationships that we have, so that when we're solving problems, it's still meaningful and there's still joy, and that we're not just robotic and mechanical about things. And so where the 3 C's come in, looking at curiosity, so that we're looking at asking the meaning before we make assumptions, and so that we are able to talk to the people doing the work and learn where they're frustrated and what they need and what they're afraid of losing. Because, that one of the very first issues that assumptions that people made was we will lose our jobs. And then the connection is again where we design our solutions with people in mind, and we design with them, not for them, not asking for their input, so that we engage employees early, get feedback, and understand how that technology is going to affect their work. Because many times the technology is done and we don't ask the employees about it till they're supposed to use it. And then context is also where we recognize that AI can process enormous amounts of information, right? But it doesn't automatically understand the organization's history, the context, the culture, the dynamics, what is it like? It may not read the room unless human beings tell it. So AI would then be our generalist with the humans being the specialists. And then so it's not just to make a smarter system, but, we can have a workplace where people feel more capable, where they feel trusted and more supported.
I love that. And I think I can imagine, since a lot of your work you've done has been around like helping people also come along the digital transformation journey and working with them hand in hand, you've seen the value of what it looks like to actually engage people in that process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tend to say curiosity is ask before assuming, connection is design with people, and context is understand the human consequences.
Mm. Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, designing with people. So one of the things that you mentioned in your TED Talk, which was shocking to me, was that I think you mentioned that 1 in 3 employees feel that the workplace doesn't really care about their well-being, which is it's wild, but it's understandable, especially with the evolution of technology and how we're kind of moving at this pace
Mm-hmm.
across workplaces everywhere. So how would you say technology can be used to create a workplace culture that makes employees feel taken care of instead?
It can, in of itself, technology can create a caring culture. There's so many different platforms that can be used. One of my teams, we used an external tool to track walking every day. And it was great because people were able to form bonds from that. It wasn't about technology. It wasn't about the work. It was just about life. And so, you even on the flip side, you can buy any platform that you want, but the employees will still feel unseen. So the technology that we use should be able to help leaders notice, respond, and follow through. They still have to make sure that the employees feel cared for. You can use, anonymous feedback, look at the trends for workload if you have tools like that, look at if people are having to work after hours, how teams navigate benefits, and just, finding out where employees are struggling before it's too late. And so even though AI can remove the low value admin work, technology can help managers remember where the human check-in is important and where it's needed. Because the real test is what happens after technology identifies a problem, sends all of that. If the manager changes priorities and redistributes the work incorrectly and so on, or if they do it correctly and there's flexibility, then the employees will be able to see that, okay, they do care. I'm not just a body. I'm not just a warm body on a seat. Management does care for me. G makes the care visible.
Yeah, like there has to be accountability in the insights that are being generated and how you're acting on that in an empathetic and compassionate way.
Yeah.
That's actually a really big reason why the origin story of Kaylee even came about. The whole point of having an AI employee benefits advisor is to be able to help HR teams to take off some of the load of having to, maybe field some of these really challenging specific questions around eligibility and give employees the ability to also get the information that they need when they need it to track their expenses and to be able to make use of the benefits that they have at their disposal and feel that they're being taken care of that way too. I think a lot of times we have access to a lot of these employee benefits and we don't even know that they're there, or it becomes really confusing to navigate. I know that that's something I've struggled with in jobs in the past. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think, like you say, it's a combination of accountability, being responsible in how you're deploying these insights, and making sure that the tools that you're implementing actually make sense to the people that are involved in
Yeah.
that. And so, one question that I also had for you is kind of looking more into the future a bit. So, as we're looking out into where intelligent AI agents are going to evolve and how that might look like in the years, maybe even months to come with things moving so quickly, what do you think is the ideal relationship between a worker and the tools that they have?
Yeah, I do hope that the intelligent agents really help with that coordination tasks of work that is chasing, sorting, searching, scheduling, formatting, so that the agent will then help with their defined tasks, show what it did, and then, suggest where we can go with this. So if it's able to take us another level, rather than us be caught up in the fact that it's taken menial tasks away, how it can make the sky the limit for us, so make it a chief of staff for us, not an invisible boss. It's our chief of staff. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. It has been so helpful in that way for me. So it can handle the chase. And then as humans, we own the choice.
I love that. We can let it handle the chase and we can own the choice.
We own the choice.
So good. That's so good. And I think that's the question right now, because a lot of times, especially with even, and colleagues that I speak to or friends that I speak to, there's a big challenge around outsourcing decision making to your GPT. And there has to be a shift where we're keeping the critical thinking in how we analyze these insights, what we actually do with them, and how we even give the analysis on top of it, or how we share out these insights, how we act on just the whole thing. I think we all need to be shifting more towards that. And I think that that's something that's going to be more of the threshold around how we're encouraging employees and people in general to use AI more strategically, I would say. Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
So there's a lot of anxiety around AI in the headlines right now, but I'd love to get your take on what you think is something that makes you feel optimistic about the future and about our future relationship to AI as a society.
So I'm really optimistic because it's making more people become creators and experienced with technology. Because the people that I meet, my team that I work with, I'll give an example of one of my team members. I remember when we started, he would tell me how he would keep saying how he's older and I'm like, that's not what it is now. And he is way ahead. He's way ahead now. The teacher becomes the student becomes the teacher. So it's expanding agency, people being able to do what they need to do. When you look at websites, and I always ask the engineers to forgive me, but when you look at websites and people being able to just be up and program their website, get what they need without any, major weight or major costs. Now, of course, if you need an in-depth system, CRM sort of that you still will need. But I had a client who was looking she had spent tens of thousands of dollars a couple of years to create a solution that together took us 30 minutes for a robust system, for an application. Together took us, so that the agency that it's giving, I am really optimistic.
Right, actually. And I hadn't even thought about it from that angle, but I think it actually really does open the door, of course, for agency and also self-esteem, positive self-esteem, because the learning curve is much lower and you can actually realize that it's a lot easier to, use the terminal on your computer or use Claude code, even just for like the generation like my parents. Like I love seeing my dad do his analysis on the house that they're trying to sell in our home country in Colombia. And he's just like, wow, I did a whole cost analysis and this and that. And I think it's just really cool. You're so right.
Yes, yes. And even like I'm having to send my mom an email about a meeting every Monday because every other way that I do it, it's not working. Just send it to her. She gets the notification every day, but just send her this. And there are other meetings too. I've said it. Just send her those emails.
Makes everything easier. I love it. All right. Well, before we close, I wanted to ask you some rapid fire questions. So these are intended to just be first instinct, no overthinking, short and fun. So to kick things off, most overused phrase in corporate AI talk right now.
Game changer. Did I use it at all? Please let's check if I use it at all during the corporate game.
I'll check and see. I don't think you did though. One word to describe what the workplace looks like in 5 years.
I would say augmented because we may be in, there'll be a whole different augmented reality.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The most human skill AI will never replace.
Compassion.
An everyday task you wish an agent would just handle for you already.
Working out.
Same. I have not worked out in like 2 weeks. That's hilarious.
I wish my agent would get on the treadmill and I would look good.
You burn the calories. Yeah.
Yes.
Burn the calories. But if every employee got one AI superpower tomorrow, what would you give them?
Confidence, actually.
That's
Because
fun.
no matter what I believe is no matter what level we are in a company, from, as I say, a person in the mailroom to the CEO, confidence.
Love that. Well, to end on that note, last and most important question, where can our audiences reach out to connect with you or to learn more?
Oh, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Because I'm always like one of the first adopters of stuff.
Amazing.
When they connect, to also say where they saw it, right? Where they saw connect.
Yeah, that would be great. And definitely make sure that you subscribe to Geanie's AI Insights newsletter. It's super interesting. You put them out how often?
Once a week.
Once a week.
Mondays.
Yes. Yes. So very much recommend. I'm going to go check out yours later today from yesterday. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the time. It was amazing talking to you. Really appreciate all of the insights you had to share. And yeah, look forward to seeing what else you build and how else you can help us bring more humanity into the future of AI development in the years to come.
Thanks, Gabby.